Welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in again. We're going to jump right into the next topic. I know you tried to segue your way into it. You want to
Yeah, the last episode.
let us know?
Yeah, the forgiveness
Oh,
or the lack of
Lack of.
forgiveness.
the lack of
Right.
forgiveness?
You know, I forgive you, but next time we have an argument, you're gonna bring it up and throw it in my face again. Even if we arguing about dishes, you're gonna bring up how I messed around with Sally 2 years ago. You know, so
We'll see the counter argument to that, right? It's like, well, I forgive you, but I didn't forget.
yeah, and you shouldn't forget because
Right.
we human, we don't forget.
But that's separate, right? That's two different things.
Two separate things because forgive you means I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna trust you again, or try to trust you again.
Try.
Or we're moving past what just happened.
Right.
That's
starting at a clean slate.
what clean slate. But that means you can't bring it up again. There's only one caveat to that. If my behavior goes down that road again,
Right.
then it can be revisited. But if we're arguing about my mother, and you're like, I should have never stayed with you anyway. Like, from you cheating on me, like you forgave me.
Right.
And that's why I see happen with a lot of people. Like you'll be arguing about something totally different, and they'll bring that and throw it in your face.
Right. Yeah.
So you didn't forgive me.
Right. They never got past that hurt.
Right. You stayed with me for whatever reason, but now you want to hold that over my head. So every time I think to go, hang out with my friends, you side-eyeing me.
Right.
Like, if you really gonna do what you say you're gonna do, whose house you going over?
Right. Who all gonna be there?
Who all gonna be there? What time they're coming back? You walk in the house, they start sniffing you. Yo, you laughing, but this has happened to people.
I mean, there's songs about it.
Yeah, we walk in the house, they sniff you. You throw your boxes in the hamper, and they checking them out when they doing laundry. Like they, forensics on them, making sure
They got the black light out.
Yeah, making sure nothing foreign's on there. Like, like whose hair is this?
You know what's crazy is the forgiveness part doesn't even have to always be cheating, right?
No.
Like you said, it's like you didn't do the dishes 2 weeks ago. It's like you're not going to bring that up in every argument.
Right. It's just like when we have a situation, and it was like, especially, and I always go to the worst situations, and it could be cheating, it could be whatever, it could be.
That's the hardest one to
right,
past.
because, and that person who cheated may be working their damnness to change.
Right.
They came a lot of times. Like, say if you, I've known situations of people who it happened to me in the past. Like, I actually told someone what I did wrong. I told them myself,
right, okay.
Which can be crazy. Which I struggle with that now. I don't know, because I know an old head told me a long time ago, not everything needs to be said. And so I do struggle with it in my head. Like,
but was it like eating you up? So you felt that you need to address it?
Yes, because that's
Right,
the kind of person I try to be straightforward, and it was eating me up. Could I got away with it? And yeah, she would never know.
Right.
But it was eating me up. So I figured, boom, I'm gonna throw it out there. Hopefully, if she ever has something that she did, she would throw it on the table too, right, and we can just cry, laugh, and fight about it and be over with. But it ate me up. But then that relationship was never the same after that.
Right.
And I said to myself, but I changed.
Kind of interesting.
But I changed.
I was saying, it's not you could have been the exception of the rule. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a person who's willing to say, like, I effed up, mm-hmm, this is what I did, I'm sorry that I hurt you.
Right.
I'm aiming to be better.
Right.
You almost need to really start to believe that last part. I'm aiming to be better.
Right,
because
right,
why
right.
else would you proactively
you put yourself out there,
air yourself out like that if you weren't looking to change?
Hey, I wasn't caught. I wasn't caught.
Right. So exactly, it wasn't like you got like, just tell me and I won't be that mad. It
right.
was just like, how was your day? And it's like, hey, by the way,
right.
So like, if anything, I think that. Yeah, no defense to your original action,
right?
But it does.
I'm human. Shit,
right,
everybody does something.
So then the thing, right? So if that person chose to forgive you, again, they don't have to forget. But if they chose to forgive you, yeah, they can't. The questions can't start happening every single time that you go to.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I'm glad you told me. I appreciate that. I'm hurt.
Right.
I need time. Okay, we got past it, but you can just tell, just like. When something didn't. Oh, I'm going out. The first time I started going out again, it was like,
right. Where you
well,
going?
yeah, who gonna be there? Like, all right, well, no funny business. Like, oh, I'm just joking. No, why are you making those comments? Like, I'm really trying to work on who I am,
right,
and become a better person. And now I'm struggling with myself. Like, should I have said anything?
Right. And now you might be afraid to say anything.
Yeah, like if anything.
I forgot to take the dog out. You're afraid what's gonna happen.
Well, listen, I got guy friends, and y'all can all be pissed off at me, but I keep it real. Like, we'll go out. They believe I shouldn't even say, to this day, they believe I shouldn't say, if my girl be like, "Hey, who was all out tonight?" And I'll be like, Brandon, John, Mark, Jen, Stacy.
Right.
I do that because it's nothing to hide there.
Right.
And my guy friends feel like, why would you tell her that girls were there? I'm like, 'cause she ain't stupid.
Like it's lying to your parents about like a party in high school.
Like my girl used to always say, like, guys who do that, like women really believe that guys are just hanging out with guys when they go out.
Yeah.
They don't talk to her. I'm not saying trying to get with somebody, but
Right. Communication.
they're communicating with females.
Right.
Because what guys, let's keep it real, guys. Like, who just want to go out and just sit with your boys and just at a bar? We can do it in my basement. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could do that at the crib.
Right.
Like, we don't have, if we want
to spend money to do that.
we gonna go spend money at the bar. No, it's like a sport. You talk to people. It could be about nothing. Again, you might not be trying to get with nobody. And
Right.
9 times out of 10, it's not. You talk to people. I go to bars. I be talking to people about kids sports and regular sports and be females talking about, work and half the time I don't even know their names. And I leave there not knowing their names after a 25-minute conversation at the bar. We do it all the time. It doesn't matter because I'm not trying to recruit. You know what I'm saying? So
we're not college coaches, right?
Right.
We ain't recruiting.
Right. So it's that whole thing just I wonder, like, what should you say, what shouldn't you say? Because now, I have seen a situation where I've said something and it kind of spiraled the relationship.
Well, what's interesting about that? So, and like, not to put all the blame on that person, right?
Mhm.
Because you're the one who made the
absolutely.
mistake. But then the situation is like, if you're on that other end
Mhm.
and you're unable to work through it and move past it, like for your own sanity, you need to exit that relationship.
Absolutely.
If you're going to continue the relationship, you can't continue to hold that.
Right.
And that, I think that's
And it's going back to controlling. It's like, okay, so you want me to stay home
right.
so you know where I'm at.
Right.
But that means you're never trusting me because
Ever.
at some point I gotta go somewhere.
Well, like these days too, it's got to be so much crazier. And I haven't had this experience yet. Luckily, I feel lucky about that. But like, if I think about past experiences with my life, maybe when I wasn't the greatest person in the world or happy with who I was or secure or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And all the people I do know. Can you imagine that now with the technologies and stuff we have now?
Yeah.
Like for example, my girlfriend, I have her location on my phone and
Right.
it was always a safety thing. It was like, oh, I'm going
Yeah.
here to visit
Yeah.
friends, like just in case I don't show up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like here's where
Yeah. I'm not watching what you're doing all day every
it's
day.
like I'm not sitting there looking like, hey, I noticed that you took this road home from work
Right,
today.
right. And you stop there for a little while.
Normally by 3:13 p.m. you take a right on this road, but it didn't happen until 3:25. Why?
Whose house is that on 10 Shady Lane?
Exactly.
Right. Because you can drive yourself crazy.
Right.
You can drive yourself crazy.
That goes all the way.
And I
back to
have it
go
like,
through the phone, but
I
it's the same
got
concept.
my boys, my daughter, I got my girl, everybody's on we all have a location on there. I don't check.
You don't need to.
I don't check. Maybe if like, okay, she got off work at 5, she's not here yet. I'm like, damn, 6 o'clock. Let me make sure she ain't get no accident.
Right.
Or
you're not looking.
yeah, I'm not looking to see if she's doing something shady.
Right.
Because if I think that, then I got bigger problems.
Right. No, it's a safety thing.
Yeah.
But just so imagine that now being added into this whole thing. Now, can you imagine if you're able to forgive, but you don't, and then you're sitting there at home, and if you go to the office and someone catches you and asks you a question when you're walking out of the office, so you're 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late.
Yeah, you're off your pattern.
Right.
What you know me here at 5:13.
And that's not just a quick conversation.
Right.
Even if they don't bring it up, that's eating them alive inside.
The whole thing is
that's unhealthy.
You have to trust and believe in the person you're with or get out.
Facts. No cap.
And guess what?
Youth say.
You could be being a sucker. And until you find out you're being a sucker, you got to be a sucker.
That's true.
Like, you can't play with it. If you think they're being truthful, you got to blindly roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess what? If you're being a sucker, it'll come out one day, and that's their bad. That's on them.
Right. Life's gonna continue.
Yeah, it's going to continue. But I'm not going to waste energy and they take it out of my. I could be doing so many more things than sitting there.
It's like pre-suckering yourself.
Yeah, then I feel like a bigger sucker when ain't nothing going on.
Right.
And then
I'm an idiot.
I've seen people leave people for that. Oh, you don't trust me. I don't want to be with you.
Well, you're manifesting it at
Right.
that point.
Yeah, and it's not healthy. It's like I always believe if everybody's giving love in a relationship, we ain't got no time to be worried about nothing else. I'm just trying to be happy. I'm trying to laugh. Life's short, man.
I mean, so that's kind of the basis of it, right? It's
Right.
like, all right, so if you're gonna forgive, you got to forgive.
Yeah.
Not saying you have to forget, because you're right. Like if
you're human, you won't forget.
if you're with someone, and cheating is always the thing because it's the most explosive
Yeah.
topic of
Yeah.
it. But like, so if you're with someone and they cheated on you, you decide to stay with that person for whatever reason. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, because I'm sure people do change. People make mistakes. Life
Absolutely.
happens. They could turn out to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know people who who were married, got divorced, and then got married again, and now they're like the happiest
Right,
people.
right, right.
Not saying that always happens, but like, just because it wasn't great at one point doesn't mean it can't be.
right.
But if you're going to live through that experience and you're going to accept that person back into your life or in your life still, you can't, because you're just gonna eat yourself up.
Right.
And then there goes your whole life.
And some people would tell you that sometimes when you go through things in a relationship, it becomes stronger. It can. The person become better.
Right.
People do learn from mistakes. Some people make mistakes over and over again. You're human. You're always gonna make some. I always say this to people: you live long enough, you're gonna do something wrong.
Absolutely.
My father told me, God rest his soul. My father told me that years ago. He said, "You can get married one day, and guess what? You're going to mess up."
Right.
I'm not gonna say how, but you live with somebody long enough, and be with somebody long enough, somebody's gonna mess up.
We can't be perfect 20%.
No,
Like,
no
I
one's
guarantee
perfect.
My current relationship is a very great one, in my opinion. I guarantee I've done something without like not
without
even
knowing.
thinking about it.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
I guarantee I've done something that if it was known about would upset her.
Absolutely, we all do.
And I'm sure vice versa.
We all do. So
See,
that's
no one's
why.
perfect.
And it goes back into the, what my old head told me a long time ago. Not everything needs to be said. Not everything, but basic stuff like who I was with. Why? Because sometimes when a woman asks you that, she already know.
Exactly. The
'Cause her-
FBI agent already knows.
Yeah. Her girlfriend was there and saw you, with the group of girls, and she just wants to see if you're gonna lie. And sometimes if you just tell the truth, she's like, okay, well that's cool. He
Right.
told me the truth. But I'm gonna see him like, no, I was just with the 3 guys I went with. We talked the whole night about boxing. Yeah. And then
Even if she didn't know,
Right.
let's just say, like, you run through the scenario where the same situation, and you just say the guys' names,
Mhm.
and then you two are out together the next weekend, and those females that were there,
Right.
they're like,
Oh,
oh, it's so sad you weren't out with us. We had such a good time last weekend, and now, even though nothing happened and there was nothing bad, now you got
and that's where I'm getting this from.
right.
The one time I did it, I was with my friends, and they all know the story. So they invited me out for my birthday.
Okay.
We went to a restaurant. It was like a restaurant bar. And they invited a group of people that we all talked to at sporting events and stuff like that.
The group, right?
Right. So it was a couple of females in there, which is, my girl knew I was friends with them. She's friends with these girls.
Right.
Right. So, but for whatever reason, I don't know what it was, when she asked me, well, how was last night? And I told her, oh, it's fine. Oh, who all was out? And I just said, oh, just me and the guys, just random people at the bar. It was cool, just like you just said. She ran into the next day, ran into one of the girls that was there, and the girl's like, oh my God, did Will tell you how much fun we had last night celebrating his birthday? And she played it cool.
Will did not tell me that.
So my girl came and found me. And I remember I was talking to somebody. We were out at one of the sports games, and she came stood next to me. And I'm talking to this guy, and I'm looking at her face. I'm like, oh shit. Something just went down.
Right.
And I knew exactly what it was. I knew it had to be, because I knew those
people
girls
were
just
there.
got there.
Right.
So, and she just looked at me. She's like, blinking her eyes and just waiting. So I'm like hoping this guy never walks away. Like I want to hold his arm.
Right.
Like I don't want.
Sir, don't leave me.
So, and so she, as soon as he walks away, she was like, so, yeah, a lot more people at your little birthday gathering than you mentioned. I'm like, what
your little birthday.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, I just ran into so-and-so, and she said, oh, we had so much fun last night that we'll tell you. I'm like, And I didn't say anything, but I'm thinking to myself, no, Will, I wonder why wouldn't you tell me?
Right.
You know, and yeah, she said your friend so-and-so invited everybody. You know, she called him Mr. Invite a Bitch.
Was that like Captain Save-A-Ho?
It's his cousin. So
The whole family.
But her issue was, and she explained to me later on, I don't want to find out something about you from somebody else.
Right.
It's simple, and it's so simple. Like, we don't ever hold that kind of stuff from each other. Why this time did you do it?
Right. Exactly.
It makes it look shady.
Exactly.
She said, maybe if you would have told me so-and-so girls within there, I might have been like in my head, rolling my eyes, but it's not a big, yeah, it would have been not a big deal because, you know, I know you have female friends, you know, so I don't stress that. But when you lie about little innocent things, you start wondering what's behind the door.
Right.
And so now I got that. So, and that was the one time and I don't believe in that. I always say who's there, and I don't care. I'll take pictures with people. I don't give a damn.
Post
you know
it.
What I mean?
Exactly.
Post it. But yo, we out here. Yeah. And I don't, because you should be able to do that without it being the issue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we have most of our friends are like, she knows most of my friends know her. Like, we all friends. So if I see somebody else, it's not a big deal if I sit there and talk to them. Or if it's somebody random, it's just, you should believe that it's just random. I'm coming home.
Right. Well, I mean, it's funny because, you know, you were there with the story that I'm about to tell, which is similar but different. Yeah. So and you know about it because you were there, right? So we're all out. It's, you know, us, you know, me, my girlfriend, we're all there. We're all having out, and she had to head out early that night, and we all stayed. So we're all in the situation where we're all having fun. Everyone's having fun out. There's men, there's women there. There's new women, right? Because a big group turned into a bigger group. I'm a very social person. So I talk to everybody. I have fun with everybody. Nothing wrong was done at all. No. And then the next day when it's, you know, actually, you know what's funny about the story is I don't even think I had the opportunity to call her because I was feeling it.
Yeah, you were feeling it. Yeah.
And she was at dance class.
You flew away. We couldn't even find you.
She was at dance class the next morning with her daughter. And she calls me and she's like, hey, did you have fun last night? And I'm saying yes. Yeah. And she's like, oh, you know, asking a couple questions. And it's like, tell all the truthful answers.
Yeah.
And she was like, want to see something funny? And she puts it on FaceTime and she's with one of the females that we met the night before.
But
it was funny because they were talking about how the night before and she was explaining how their group expanded and we all had all this fun. And she's like, yeah, that was definitely my boyfriend. And it's like, but you know, what she's saying about me and what I said about the night, it all matches up. Because there was absolutely nothing wrong. There's, you know, so again, though, but like if when she called me, I was just like, nah, I just hung out with Will the rest of the night.
Yeah. It'd have been like,
I look shady.
Yeah. Over nothing.
Right.
Over nothing.
And then if I didn't, and then she turns it on FaceTime and shows me that girl, what if I was just like,
yeah, like feeling stupid and looking guilty for nothing.
For no reason.
Because I was there. It was just
literally nothing.
Nothing.
Exactly. Everyone just had a great night. Yeah. Great fun.
People talking about kids and stuff. And
exactly. That's what I do when I go out.
Right.
If you have custody questions, you know, I got it.
But the thing is, like, you know, when you don't reveal those little things, it just makes you look shady.
Right.
And then
that gets hard to forgive.
Right.
Because it's just like if you're capable,
or you don't forget it either.
It's like if you're capable of telling those little white lies, like what else are you capable of lying about? And then that forgive gets real hard.
And to me, I'm trying to figure out like why do you have to tell that lie that you were talking to?
Well, exactly. There's no purpose.
It's the whole opposite sex thing. But to me,
all ties in.
But yeah, all these subjects ties in. Like every episode, like, you know, the controlling, the opposite sex, talking to, and it's like if I can't be in a place and talk to a female, or you vice versa, have a conversation with it. I mean, and not picking them up. Like everybody can be in relationships, but people have conversations about normal shit.
Right.
And I don't understand why that has to be a bad thing that we have to lie about. Now we causing more friction because we lied about something so small that you looking at me sideways. Now you don't trust me at all. Right. And now I got to ask you to forgive me for this lie. Yeah, you'll forgive me, but you ain't gonna forget I just lied to you.
Right. I was gonna say that's probably harder for like actually.
The lie's always worse. The lie's worse.
Always.
Yeah.
Because then what's gonna happen? You know, again, the next time something comes up and you might be telling the truth about something, but the next time maybe it's just like, oh yeah, it was just me and the guys, and you might be telling the truth that time, but.
Well, I had a cousin growing up. We used to get on his case all the time because he would lie and make up stories all the time. And we always say, man, if something ever happened, no one's gonna believe you.
Right.
Because you lie so much. Like you make up stuff so much.
The boy who cried wolf.
Yeah, it's like when something really happens to you, you call us because you always, practical jokes call, oh, they're trying to kill me. I'm like, so one day you're gonna call people like, yeah, whatever, bro. Right. Next thing you know, you dead.
Exactly.
So it's just like one of those things where it's like the whole, if I forgive you, if I'm giving you reason not to forgive me, then I can understand why people, go through this, and I just feel like people shouldn't be in a relationship like that. If you got to go through that,
factual.
you know what I mean? If you got to go through the whole issue of, I'm still staying with you, but what you did 2 years ago,
I'll never let you.
That down. Yeah. Again, like I said, who forgets anything?
Well, then what makes it hard is there's people that say now that you've done that to me, they almost feel like they can then be controlling.
Yeah,
and again,
yeah. Oh, hold over your head. Oh,
hold it over
to the
your
controlling.
head, right.
Dude, they all right. Since you did what you did, now every time, like, if I don't want you to do something now, you shouldn't do it,
right?
Because what you did before.
Oh, I want to go out with the guys, or I want to go out with the girls, and you're like, well, last time
you were in there, and then you end up in somebody's backseat of somebody's car.
So if you really need to do that, go ahead,
right?
Go have fun with your little friends,
right? And it's just miserable.
Yeah, that's not a way to live. I think it's kind of one of the things, right? So like that's the main thing. If that's the way that the situation is, that's the way your relationship is. Like that's so unhealthy.
Yeah.
You should not stay in that.
no happiness. Like again, you shouldn't be in a relationship if you don't feel you don't feel free.
You're fighting for like normal feeling.
Yeah,
like fighting for it.
Like, and I see people like all the time. I talk to people all the time who say, "I'm so bored. We don't go out. Why don't you go out? Well, he don't like going out. She don't like going out. So you can't go out with your friends without? Well, I feel bad leaving them home by themselves on a Friday or Saturday night, so I'll just stay home and be bored.
I'll enjoy that for the
guess
rest
what?
of your life.
Next thing you know, you'll be 75 and like, damn, I wish I'd have went out when I was 45.
Or what's going to happen is one of those people's going to end up cheating.
Yeah.
The one chance that they get.
9 times out of 10, it's the guy. He's the guy who's making you stay home. He's out. He's out doing something else.
Right.
He's on his
because he's guilty.
Yeah. On his work hours, he's doing something that you don't know he's doing.
He's got late meetings now.
Yeah. You're so busy covering your tracks and not doing anything. You need to check his damn phone. Right. Even though I don't believe in checking phones, but
he's got late meetings.
Yeah, he got all those stuff. And normally people who seriously, if you checking somebody so hard, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Like why is it in your head so much that somebody could be doing? I think people do things like when they act like that, it's because they know what they're capable of or what they do.
I feel like that's a great point to stop it at, because you can just look in the camera, right? And you can just be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you feel that way, what are you hiding?
Yeah.
Maybe look in the mirror.
Yeah. Maybe it's something I need to forgive you about.
Right.
Or forget you.
Maybe the forgiveness needs to be internally.
Right. And that's the same. And that's the whole thing about it again. But the whole premise of this is if you in a relationship, something goes wrong and you talk it out and you agree to forgive each other, you move on.
Right.
And
you can't keep bringing it up.
You can't keep bringing them. Again, only caveat is if that person's going down the same road again. But you can't bring it up about another fight, can't bring in what happened with that major issue.
Right. Absolutely.
Or you ruin a relationship. You might as well just be single.
Ruined.
Be single.
It's okay to be single.
Married and bored, single and lonely. What Chris Rock said
that. Really, right?
So not true, but I get what he's saying. Yeah. Protect your peace.
Protect your peace.
And find your happiness.
Find your happiness.
There you go.
That's what he said.